All right guys, we got the race trailer behind me. It's new for the 2020 season. I briefly showed you guys when we first got it, but it's been a couple months. We had some time to get it set up. So let's go inside and check it out. All right guys, so we're here inside the trailer. Really cool. There's a lot to show you guys, a lot to talk about. But before we dive into the trailer, I want to show you the GEARWRENCH pit box, what's inside it. But before I do that, I want to tell you kind of like where I started at the very beginning of when I was racing and how it evolved in like my pit box at the tracks. At the very beginning, just throw a bunch of tools in like kind of just like an open bin, and I would be at the track like the short track days at Willow or whatever when I was doing Pro-Am. Then when I became pro, I bought a Craigslist box and just shove everything, and it was like in between the rounds, I would have to put this stuff back in the shop because I didn't have doubles of everything. And eventually you kind of gain more tools. But anyways, going into 2019, when I partnered with GEARWRENCH, I was using the mobile workstation, which is a pretty cool box. And we had that in our trailer last year. But then the only thing was we couldn't get it to and from the hot pit at the races. So let's take a look at this really cool box. Extreme Tools built these boxes, but they work in partnership with GEARWRENCH, so that's how we were able to get this box. GEARWRENCH helped us out with it. I did a couple add-ons on the outside, but check these big tires out. It comes this way. So it's ready to, you know, be towed behind your truck or a golf cart or what you have, I guess, to get it out to the hot pit. It has a disc brake on it, so here's the brake lever. So right now I had it in like park position, so it can't move, but it rolls very easily and it steers. It's not connected right now because it's in the trailer, but we have an attachment that connects here, and then I can hook it onto my truck on the tow hitch on the back of the truck and safely tow it out to the hot pit. I'm sure if you went really fast, there could be some damage, but we'll make sure that doesn't happen. Another little add-on I did was a fire extinguisher. Can't hurt to have that at the racetrack. You never know when you might need that. Hopefully you never need that. Also, I added on a grid wall on the backside to transport parts if need be to and from the hot pit. And as the race season evolves, you'll always add on to it. That's why it's not full yet. Come around here to the backside. I also added on this pretty cool, it's just called like a jack holder, I guess. So I got this online and then I powder coated it and I riveted it to the back side of the toolbox. So now we have our hot pit jack just hanging out in there, and it travels in the trailer during transport really good. And then I just had this little magnetic nut and bolt tray here. So in case of whenever you're gonna need that at the track, we got it there on the back of the pit box. So this pit box has all the tools that we need for the whole race weekend. It's gonna serve its purpose next to the trailer when we're set up in the pit, and then when we go out to the hot pit, it comes with us. So it has a lot in here, but I'm trying to make it just what we need when you're at the track. All right, so let's start over here and work our way across the box. So down here, for now, we have just our jack stands in there, so they can be on both hot pit and normal pit with us. Up here, we just have some zip ties. These are to increase spring rate. You can slide them into your coilover if you need them. Then we have our Bluetooth speakers so we can have music, either pit that we're in. Cool thing about the partnership with GEARWRENCH is they've slowly, over the course of time that we've been partnered with them, supplied me with every single hand tool we need to be at the racetrack. It's hard to put an importance level on a tool because when you need a tool, you need a tool. So it could be anything and everything. These are organizer bins from GEARWRENCH, which come in handy for this top drawer. We have them in a couple drawers, but when we have small miscellaneous things like these GEARWRENCH calipers, or you know, like a knife, or these little mirrors and feeler gauges, tape measure, stuff's not just rolling around. So we have them down here again. So this is kind of like where we're gonna keep our lights. We do have a couple other miscellaneous things like spanner wrenches for the coilovers, and then I have a couple of these really cool little kits that they have. So this is if you need to take a stud out. This is such a cool tool, and it has different sizes, and you can get a stud out without ruining that stud. Then there's like an impact driver. So let's keep moving because there's so many cool tools in here and I don't want to miss anything. Another key thing that we've been using a lot of this year is this foam divider stuff. So this will allow you to keep, in this case, screwdrivers where they need to be during transport. And then if you wanted, you could put stuff sideways. Either way, you'll see there's more of this in lower drawers, but we got a little bit of everything here because you kind of don't know what's going to happen at the track. You could guarantee little things like you're going to change the oil, you're going to adjust your alignment no matter what at every race, change spark plugs. But sometimes you're going to have an accident and sometimes stuff bends or whatever. There's situations that are different at every track. So you try and over the course of the years bring enough tools that you can kind of beat all those situations and get your car back on the track. So this is perfect right in here. It saved us space and it's not gonna move around during transport at all. So we have a lot of ratchets because there's multiple hands that are gonna be working on the car at the same time. And if we have two of most of them, you won't limit yourself for time, I guess I should say. This helps with time crunches so that if something, 2 or 3 people on deck on the car in that one corner or whatever, get a lot done because we have multiples. Got a lot of extensions because you don't know what's gonna happen. These guys are really cool. You never know where you're gonna get into, or you do know exactly what you're gonna get into and you know which ones to grab. Let's keep moving. Here's all the sockets, and then there's some Allens in here as well. I guess there's a little bit of other stuff in here too because there isn't room in every drawer, so there's some SAE wrenches here, but I've learned over the years, like you think, oh, I'll just bring standard length socket in a 3/8 drive and deep socket in 3/8 drive, but in reality, you're gonna need a 12-point standard length and 12-point deep socket, usually in SAE and in metric, and you're gonna need it in 1/2 inch and 3/8, and occasionally you need it in 1/4 inch. So it's just like, becomes a lot of tools, or you're gonna go asking other people if you can borrow their tool, which I prefer not to do. The tables have churned. Usually people are asking me if they can borrow a tool, which I also don't necessarily love that because then you forget about it. Down here, we have some of my favorite tools of all time that GEARWRENCH makes are these really nice torque wrenches. So we have a 3/8 and a 1/2 inch. So we use this 1/2 inch when we're torquing down the wheels. And then 3/8 is for the other things that need to be torqued down that are a little bit less foot-pound rating. We try and bring a lot of crescent wrenches because those will work in a quick bind, and we want to be repetitive, so we have 2 of each one just in case. Like I was saying with the ratchets, like 2 people doing 2 separate things but similar tool needed. And then on pry bars, we're very minimal on that. We shouldn't really be using that. The race car comes apart super easy, goes back together super easy, and it's not old parts, so there shouldn't be much prying. Then in here with these pliers, you just kind of have one of everything just in case, because you don't know what's gonna happen yet. And then even like the cutters. So the reason these are in here is sometimes we'll patch stuff with a little sheet of aluminum, and those will cut the sheet of aluminum that's stored somewhere else. That's not gonna go to the hot pit with us. Last but not least, we have hammers. You always need hammers, and then we have a couple other power tools down here to help us when we need them. And then heading over into the last section here. So down here, it's not even really tools. That's a pan that helps us change. That's like you drain the oil for your quick change gears, and this is a little holder for the winter's quick change gears. It would hold 2 gears in there. This one's currently in the car, that's why it's empty. But then we have other changes of those. We're only gonna bring 2 or 3 to the hot pit because you kind of know before you get to that track what gear ratio you're gonna run from previous year's data. And then we have a little bit of alignment tools up here. The box has never been to an FD round yet. We know last year what we used in the other box, but we had like a repetitive thing going last year with box we'd put in the bed of the truck and then the box that stayed with the trailer. So this is gonna be all new to us, and trust me, it's gonna evolve. Like starting round 1, we're gonna have a checklist of need to get for next round because like you'll get in a pinch. But hit me up at the end of the year and look in here, and this will be maxed out, and I'll probably have some little holders. And oh, I forgot to show you guys. These are not standard. These don't come here, so Joe built these. They're just like a aluminum lip that we painted, and then there's riv nuts behind there, and they've been bolted in so that during us driving to and from the hot pit to the normal pit, stuff can't fall out and try and open this door. Of course, we'll close the box and lock it, but we're just being double safety. That is the GEARWRENCH Toolbox, and I hope you guys think it's as cool as I do. So GEARWRENCH also builds 55-inch and 72-inch toolboxes for your shop, like roller boxes, big boys, like bigger than this. If you guys liked this and you want to see more, I can always show you more. Or if you just get curious, go on GEARWRENCH's website and check out their 55 or 72-inch toolboxes, because they're very similar to this, but without these big boy wheels on it. So it'd be perfect for your garage or your shop. Okay, I want to show you guys the trailer. There's a ton of cool features. I'll probably miss a couple, but let's go to the front, start there, and I'll just kind of do a quick rundown, and you guys can see, you know, how we have it set up and all about the trailer. So if you went all the way up onto the gooseneck section up there, just got a bed in there. It's like a miniature bedroom. Can't stand up in there, but you got a bed, you could sleep, and you can charge your phone. That's pretty cool. Something we didn't have before. Me and Renee were sleeping in the cab of the truck on our way to the round, and we would just like tough it out to save money. Now we just park safely somewhere and fall asleep in there. This has a generator in here. You control the generator and the power right here. You'd start your generator right there. We are not going to do that because we're trying to film a video for you guys. So you get the point though. There's a microwave that will come in handy at the track. And then there's a lot of cabinets. So I'll kind of briefly show you inside the cabinets. This is where hang your race suit. Race suit's currently at Sparco right now getting a zipper modified, so it's not in there, but you guys get the point. We got the race helmet up there, Hans device, something we didn't have before in the other trailer. There's just a cabinet that's not full yet. We're gonna probably put food in here, so what will happen is that will rotate out every round. This one, that has Renee's helmet. Renee doesn't need her helmet at FD. The generator's behind there. You would have to access that on the outside of the trailers, but you get the idea. In here, we just have more supplies, and that's kind of all you're gonna see in all these cabinets is a bunch of stuff. Oh, look at those Clorox wipes. You guys know these are like impossible to find now because everyone thinks they need that to wipe down every surface. And now we can't even have them for our race trailer. Those are overflow from last year. Okay, coming into this room. This is where all the cool stuff is, all the race car stuff. It's like a mini shop in here. As you can see on the walls, I've hung grid wall. That's something I had in the other trailer and it worked amazing, so it had to come over into this trailer. We have like a full set of Wisefab right here and rear arms. That's just, if you get in an accident, you're gonna need that, and you cut the zip ties and throw it on the car. It's quick access, and to be honest, those wouldn't store that well inside of a box, inside of a cabinet, so it's even easier. Then we have back here, we have one front bash bar, multiple rear bash bars, because you're gonna swing the back of your car into things. We'll go through some of these. These are sway bars here. Some other miscellaneous stuff, Sparco bumper, you know, springs. These little weird arms you guys might be wondering, or some of the other metal pieces, those are little like tentacle arms that stick out in the back of the car near the bash bar that hold the body kit in place, because the back of the car is just kind of dangling in the air like that. We bring a drum of fuel with us. Let's look in some more cabinets, guys. Let me just open them all up and then we'll work our way down. Some of them are gonna be empty because we still have 2 weeks and I'm still organizing stuff. Car cleaning products, you're always detailing your car when you're at the track, so that's just that stuff. Distilled water, if your radiator, you have problems, or you gotta, I don't know, pull the motor or something, you're gonna need to fill back up, so you got some distilled water. This is something really cool, new to us, so we can like charge our radios while the generator's running in a cabinet, and then they have a home. Before it was just like shove them in this bag, which the headsets are still in there. We're gonna find a spot to hang all the headsets. So there's still gonna be more development on the trailer, but this is where we're at now. All right, so under here we have a compressor. Let's take a look at it. In here, we built that little tray on top of the compressor because it was just gonna be dead space and we needed, you know, use every square inch of this trailer. So that helps us store our waste oil bin and like the oil drain pan. And then yesterday, Joe built this really cool little thing you see here. And it's like, we only have these two things here, but like we have more air tools, but this is just a cool way to store it, keep it out of the way. We thought that was pretty cool. In this gear wrench bag here, the reason I have this kind of off by itself and not with the toolbox is because this is a fiberglass repair kit. There is 2 air tools in here that are like gonna get used when you're sanding and cutting and grinding for fiberglass. The reason we have that is because drifting, you break stuff and you hit things, then we gotta fix it so we still look good for the next day. We're also gonna have a bunch of body panels, like 1 full set of a body kit, and they are going to go up here. And as you can see, there's airline track everywhere in this trailer. Me and Renee got to pick where we were gonna put it. It was like building a custom home pretty much. We get to like go through like CAD drawings back and forth with Intech, and we chose that. And I thought of this because I can get one of those nets that would go in the bed of a truck, wrap all my body panels in, you know, cellophane or brown paper so they don't mess up the paint against each other, so they're stacked on top of each other, get a net, suck it up. The trailer's high enough that probably the net will be, you know, you could maybe touch it, but it will be out of the way during transport. When we get to the track, we'll probably have to drop the net down, move the body panels because it would block lighting and maybe the AC, which we don't want. This is a lot of talking, guys, but it's cool stuff. So going down in here, we don't have these full yet, but trust me, they'll be full. This is not gonna travel in the normal pit box because this is like super heavy duty stuff that you're only gonna use now and then. And it's, you know, the big impact sockets. It is needed. You are gonna need some of this stuff sometimes, but you won't need it every race. So, and when you work on your trailer and your truck, you're gonna need this stuff, and your truck and trailer go to every race. So that's why we have multiple different other gear wrench little kits down here. This one's so cool. You guys need to see this. Do you guys guess what this is? I don't think so. Tap and die set. Guess what? You're gonna need this almost every time you work on something. If not, you got lucky, but this is metric and SAE. It's got taps and dies, and this is a brand new one. It's all beautiful. And then if you haven't seen this yet before, let's use the smaller one, but you can, it has like the attachments so that it can help, you know, be your ratchet. We also have ratchets, of course. And then this piece is what would attach these 2 smaller ones, which would grab the tap and you'd go like this, and then it goes to a 3/8 drive ratchet. But yeah, so this is a gear wrench product. Super cool, guys. Look it up if you don't have a tap and die set, and maybe you could grab one of these. They also have a smaller kit if you didn't want this elaborate of a kit, but this is the same one we use in the shop, and it gets used on not a daily, but I would say a weekly basis. Eventually that'll probably be full, or I already forgot something and I'll remember before we go. But here we just have a little bit of some like Loctite and gasket maker, couple more tape measures, these really good scissors. These will like cut your finger off if you're not careful. I haven't done it, but I can just tell how sharp they are. In here we have an input shaft out of a GSR trans. I use this as my clutch alignment tool when I'm installing a clutch. This is what we use to open the fuel drum over there. These will get more full over time, but for now, this is gonna be the nitrous drawer. So we just have a couple like spare nitrous things, and then the nitrous pump, if I can fit it in here, will go in here. That's coming from nitrous outlet in the next day or so. And then we have this scale. So you weigh your nitrous bottle at the beginning of the day, and then you go drive, you know, the whole practice, then you weigh it after, and then you'll know like when it's out of range. Then instead of just going off what the pressure says, because that will be a little bit more accurate weighing it is. So that's why we have the scale. Here's extra Pro AFI sensors, extra hardware, jets for the KRC power steering pump, a little bit of Winters quick change parts, Just more stuff, gear wrench gloves when it's time to get really dirty. Fuel filter cutter, because you're gonna cut it open and every time you change the oil and look. Deechworks master injector O-ring kit, in case we gotta swap injectors while we're out on the road. Yeah, so then some fittings and some rod ends, heims, and more lower control arm bolts, and just things you might need, you're not sure, so you just bring them. That's about half of it. Turn over here real quick. We got a full spare race motor, exact identical of what's in the race car. You hope you never have to unwrap the plastic on that, but if you do, it's there. Nitrous mother bottle to fill up your other bottles. There's nothing in here yet, but this is where I'm gonna keep all my, well, there is a really big pry bar from GEARWRENCH, and that's there in case it's time to change a tire. You can help get it out easier if like you can't ramp up. When it's time to change a trailer tire, it depends where you're at. If you can get the trailer to walk up onto the little, like a little wedge you drive up onto, but sometimes it's not enough space, so if you use that pry bar, it'll help you get the wheel out. These cabinets we never had before. Let's take a look inside these. This is the Torco cabinet. So we have all our gear oil. I run 85-140 in my diff and in my trans. And then I run SR5R 2050 in the motor. This is motor, trans, and diff. And we have a little bit of extra down in that other cabinet. We kind of customize this, as you can see, because we don't want it to move when we're traveling. So now it's like nice and snug, and Torco fits perfectly in there. So this whole cabinet's for Torco. This cabinet, just for some chairs. You want to see some really cool chairs? I have two of them, only two of them. This chair says Rays on it. The Rays makes their own chair so it can match my rims. So cool. These are new, can't wait to use them. Okay, keep moving. So in here, we have spare, lots of stuff. So we have a spare triple disc ACT clutch, different master cylinders in case something went bad. From Tilton, we have K&N oil filters. We have ARP hardware for the flywheel. Just extras of everything. A slave cylinder for the clutch in case it goes bad, a water pump, and then these are extra Swift springs. So if we need to change our spring rate, if the track is a little different than we expected, or the car's not doing what we like, you can change it. We got extras in different spring rates. In here, just miscellaneous extra stuff. This box is full of NGK plugs. We'll be using these at every round because we got to switch them out. Extra fuel pumps if needed. Just more parts in here is like more hooks for the airline track, rivets. We got extra set of lug nuts because you take your wheels on and off, on and off, on and off, and you start to ruin the lug nuts. Then just like spare stuff up there and more like towels and rags as you saw. Over here, spare zip ties and wipes for when you get dirty. Then we have some spare HPS equipment like couplers and clamps in here. Spark plug wires, coil packs, Odyssey battery charger if need be. And then we got an extra Pro EFI ECU and a couple other little Pro EFI electrical things in case you would need it. Down here, got some Turbo Smart stuff and extra like diaphragms in here, some V-band clamps, KRC pump, AEM filter, and then some OEM taillights. You know we're gonna need a couple taillights. That just happens. And then in here, we're not done doing this one yet, but this one we put more grid wall because we need space, and this is the longer one. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna put the string alignment kit in here. I'm not sure exactly how it'll fit yet without zip tying it all to that, which I don't wanna take it on and off with zip ties every time. So I'm trying to think on it for a day or two until we decide. And then over here on this grid wall is just kind of extra coilovers, axles, some rear knuckles. At the very end there, you see 2 steering racks. Probably won't need 2 steering racks, but we have it just in case. And then on either side, we have the tire racks to hold the Rays and the Nexen tires. We have all those arms and all this framework over here for the awning. There's a super cool awning that goes with this trailer. And it's not set up right now, but we did set it up a couple weeks back. And then you see this bumper's up here. As you can see how this bumper is, that's kind of how we're gonna do some of the other panels, and whatever can't fit in the rest of the space, we're gonna hang up there if it's lightweight enough. We got this underhood wing light rack here because we're gonna use that at the track a lot so it can stay safely there during transport. That's the trailer. There's still a little bit that will happen with the trailer. Oh, you guys might be thinking, where does that box go and where does the car go? The car goes right here, and it kind of ends right about where I'm standing right now. And it straps onto those D-rings. The toolbox straps to these ones here, and it goes right where the camera is right now. So it goes in front of the car and it straps down basically like a car does with 4 big straps. All right, so that concludes the entire trailer. A lot to take in, but we wanted to share it all with you guys. You guys have been there all throughout the evolution of our race program, and this is a really cool experience for us. We're excited to start the season. Hopefully you enjoyed the toolbox and the trailer. Thank you, Gear Wrench, and thank you to you guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.